put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, and welcome to September. Yes, it's the second day of September 2025, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. This is the morning show, and I am Adana Combi, your host this morning. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it.
Good morning, and my name is Akinlabi Holder, and it's good to start the work week off. Yes, it's Tuesday, yes, but it's the first work day of the week, and a new month. We're getting down there, we're getting down to December, closer to Christmas. How are you feeling, Adana?
Well, before we get to Christmas, let's talk about getting our children back to school.
That's right.
They should have been back to school today. Traditionally, you know, it's the first day after independence. They usually go back for the September semester, but this year we're seeing them heading back out next week. So parents, you still have another week to get the school books and the shirts and the uniforms together, and we still have a week of, you know, moderate traffic on our nation's roads. You know, come next week, everybody will be trying to leave home at least a little 10-15 minutes earlier to beat the traffic. So
one more week to enjoy a decent traffic.
That's right, you know, and we're so happy that you came with us into September. We're so happy that you're always, you know, giving us your comments, your feedback, and, you know, your recommendations for the show. So, of course, welcome to September, happy September, and we are hoping that this quarter, not even quarter, this third of the year, because we're heading into, you know, we used to say a long time when you get into the buzz, September, October, November, that's the end of the year there. So those of you who have your Christmas plans, you know, time to start putting your ducks in a row.
Save your money for your curtains, your painting, all kind of things.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lovely show lined up for you this morning, and we do hope you can stay with us. But in the meantime, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, 2nd September 2025. Although the government cancelled the traditional Independence Parade and fireworks, replacing it with a day of prayer and reflection, Tobago still hosted a variety of engaging activities to mark the occasion. From as early as 6 a.m., the Calypso Rose Boulevard was abuzz with excitement as a 5K road race kicked off, followed by cycling races across several categories. Later, the island's energy surged with boat racing at Little Rocky Bay and goat races in front of the Scarborough Esplanade. While some citizens missed the morning events, Scarborough Amphitheatre came alive with gospel music, and at Shaw Park Complex, the celebration closed with an evening of prayer, praise, worship, and a movie night. Up next, the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection of the Tobago House of Assembly is no longer affiliated with Hanif Benjamin, citing its zero-tolerance policy on misconduct. Benjamin, a clinical and forensic traumatologist and the former chairman of the Children's Authority, faced 2 sex charges involving a minor. He was granted $170,000 bail and is expected back in court on January 16th. Both the PNM Tobago Council and the Innovative Democratic Alliance had demanded his dismissal, stressing that the child protection leadership must remain beyond reproach. And finally, tourism performance in Tobago has sparked political debate. Minority Leader Kelvon Morris accused Secretary of Tourism Tashia Boris of masking a fall of international arrivals by highlighting the annual July-August surge in domestic visitors. Responding to Boris's claim that Tobago's tourism sector was thriving despite challenges, Morris charged her with intellectual dishonesty for not disclosing data. While Boris credited heritage events, promotions, and influencers' campaigns for boosting arrivals, Morris demanded hard figures on hotel occupancy, international arrivals, and the financial performance of state-owned Manta Lodge. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Brianna, for our news there in 90 seconds. And we head on over to our birthday shout-out. It's time to celebrate with those who are celebrating. And of course, we start off by saying happy belated birthday to Sean Reynolds. Sean Reynolds celebrated yesterday, and we want to say happy belated birthday to you. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we hope you have an amazing and wonderful birthday.
We also say happy belated birthday to Miss Lenore Campbell. Happy belated birthday to you, Mama. We hope that you celebrated well, you stayed safe, and you were surrounded by friends and family, and you gave thanks to God for all the blessings in your life. And we wish you the best of luck coming up in the next year.
Yes, happy birthday to you, Lenore. Sweet, sweet lady she is. And happy belated birthday to Mr. Hollison Beard of Beard's Rentals. Do you know this fine young gentleman? He celebrated his birthday on Saturday, and we want to say happy belated birthday to you. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that as you enter this new phase, this new chapter, that you continue to enjoy the love of family, friends, and you enjoy the love of the Almighty God. So happy birthday to you, and may God continue to bless you richly.
And celebrating their birthday today, Miss Kathleen Sterling. Happy birthday to you, Miss Kathleen Sterling. God's richest blessings on your special day, and we hope that you take some time off to reflect on your life, and everything that you put your mind to in the upcoming year will be a great success. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you, Inspector. And we also say happy birthday to Jason Chill Williams. Today is his birthday, and we say happy birthday to you. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we hope you have an amazing birthday today.
Moving swiftly ahead, happy birthday to you, Mr. Glenn Joseph. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Joseph. God's richest blessings in your life, Mr. Joseph. And we pray that you spend the day reflecting, you stay safe, and you spend it with family and friends and loved ones.
My girl, Karen Taylor. Karen is also celebrating a belated birthday, in fact. Karen, we say happy belated birthday to you. Karen, always smiling, laughing, always finding something to joke about. Such a pleasant lady. We say happy belated birthday to you, and we pray God's richest blessings upon your life.
And finally, in our long list of birthdays, we say happy belated birthday to Mr. Brent Eastman. Yes, Mr. Eastman, happy belated birthday. We know that you would have enjoyed your birthday over the weekend, and we pray that in the upcoming year, you keep God close and you stay focused on all the goals and things you want to achieve in this life.
All right. And of course, even if we don't have your photographs and you are celebrating today, we join in the celebration with you, and we remind you to put God first, because He is the sole reason why there's even anything for you to celebrate. And I want to take this time to say a special shout out, a special good morning as we welcome you into September to all our viewers who are online. Avril Allen, we see you this morning. We say pleasant morning to you. Portia, John Charles, Charlotte Ramsey Roberts, Pearl Murray Beard. Good morning, one and all. My siblings, yes, good morning to you guys. I said I was going to do it this morning, and I say a pleasant morning to you. Welcome to September to my parents and all the people I know and all the people who follow us. A special welcome to September for all of you guys. So Akinlabi, who are we having conversations with this morning?
All right, this morning we're having conversations with Assemblyman Natisha Charles Pantin. Yes, Natisha Charles Pantin, who is the Secretary of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development. And she's coming in to talk about a number of things. So it's going to be an extended interview. She's going to be talking about Lamb Fest 2025, World Food Day 2025, and the upcoming events and activities under her division. And as well, we're going to have in Mr. Garrett McKellar, who is the owner of Exquisite Local Drinks, and he is going to be doing a new product launch.
All right, very engaging and interesting conversation this morning, and we do hope that you, our viewers, can be a part of our conversation. Remember, you can leave your comments on our Facebook live stream and our YouTube channel at Tobago Updates. We want to hear from you. We want you to be a part of the conversation. We want to hear your opinions. Ask the questions that you want to hear us ask our guests here in studio this morning. Be a part of the discourse. So whether you're viewing right here in Tobago, in Trinidad, the Caribbean region, the United States of America, Canada, England, all of Europe, Asia, Africa, or Australia, we welcome you this morning, and we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
This is how it's gonna go. They once again. They better look out below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look out below, 'cause this is your show.
Quartz is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Quartz Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Quartz Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
Take your shot with Junior K.
Always with the introductions, as you see.
And of course, we're on television. Big up to my boy Saki. We just complete. I saw that. So we didn't have a choice. We had to call it.
Good. So, Carnival.
I say, warn them. Hey, I get to know.
Baba boy Doran. Me God, we are the last man. Alright, you got a drink, bro?
Drinking liars. Enjoy. Take your shot on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and share.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We begin conversations this morning by speaking with Assemblyman Natisha Charles Pantin. She's the Secretary of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development. And we know that's a very large division and there's always something happening there. And of course, this morning we're going to be talking about a number of activities and events within the division. But first we start off with Lamb Fest 2025. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning everyone. Thank you for having me.
Of course, it's always a pleasure having conversations with you, especially when we speak about your roles and responsibilities and what the division is doing. We kind of feel your enthusiasm and your passion in terms of ensuring that you achieve the goals and the mandate set out for the division. And so, of course, we're talking about something exciting, something that is relatively new and, of course, gaining traction. And we're talking about Lamb Fest 2025. So just give us a little history about Lamb Fest, the genesis behind it, how we came up with Lamb Fest and where we are today.
All right. But first, let me ask you, this is unusual, I'll ask you both. Have you ever heard of a Lamb Fest in the Caribbean?
Not that I can recall, no.
Yeah, neither have I. And I believe that this is something unique to Tobago. It's a culinary festival, a cultural festival that aims to, keep that type of what do you call it, boost livestock production on the island. So when I was young, I don't know if you all had the same experience, but outside you hear the sheep van, blowing outside, and you usually take your lambs out there, your goat, whatever you have, and it goes down to Trinidad. So the division decided to step in and try to preserve what we consider our prime stock on the island, protect it. So instead of sending all the lambs down to Trinidad, we're trying to encourage farmers to go into lamb production, lamb meat production, and thereby making an income from it. So that's the idea. We're really trying to encourage entrepreneurship in the livestock sector. The livestock sector went dead for quite a while, for a number of years. They were just rearing animals, mostly sent down to Trinidad. So now we're trying to develop the palate of Tobagonians. Getting you accustomed to mutton, I know we're accustomed to sheep and pork, and not sheep, goat, and pork, and wild meat, and all of that. So we're trying to get Tobagonians accustomed to the different culinary dishes that can be prepared with lamb.
And since the introduction, as I mentioned, is a relatively new, but since the introduction of the festival with the idea, have you seen an improvement or an increase in the interest in, the meat that comes from the lamb?
Well, definitely. I'll tell you, when we had the first Lamb Fest, I don't think it lasted 2 hours because, wow, it was about 4,000 or 5,000 pounds of lamb meat went quickly. So we had to rethink. We had to triple the amount of lamb dishes that we had. The second time around, it went well. It went into the night. We even had roasted lamb turnip. We had lamb sauce. We had lamb polori. We had lamb doubles. Right? You had the baked lamb, stew lamb. We had different types of lamb dishes. So it went well into the night. And of course, this Lamb Fest, I know that it would be a blast. Yeah, we included competitions this time around. And I must say that in the first instance, the division funded the event 100%. And now we have sponsors coming on board, thank you, Lord, so that, you can have some sustainability, right? So I believe it is successful. I think it can, be carried by the Tobago Integrated Livestock Association eventually. After the Lamb Fest, you have an influx of buyers for lamb meat. Tadco supplies the meat as well, because we not only purchase the lamb, but we train the butchers on how to do specialty cuts in preparation for the Lamb Fest. So you come and you have a high quality experience, let me put it like that, when you come to taste the different dishes made from lamb.
So Secretary, just tell us a bit about, because persons may not be hearing about it. You say that it's a culinary festival, but just give us a bit more expansive idea on what persons could look forward to when they come in. Is it how is it structured? Do they come in? Do they purchase? Is it free of charge? That kind of thing.
Okay, so it is free of charge to walk in. The festival begins at 10 a.m. on October 5th at the Shore Park Food Hub. There's a formal part of it, very short, so people they are aware of why we're having a festival, that's the usual thing, and thanking all the sponsors and all of that. And of course, while we are talking, people eating, because the men waiting to hear us, because you have THTI, you have all different types of vendors there. So you'll come and have that type of experience. You'll smell the herbs. So I understand. You wouldn't want to stand up and listen to Miss Pantin talk. You would really want to come and experience the different dishes made from lamb. And last Lamb Fest, after the formal event, I was looking at the lamb turning. You have the pig turning on the outside fire. So I there staring and I telling them, make sure I get a piece of that. And I didn't get one piece. So I said, oh gosh, I had to increase it, turn about 3, because I need to get a piece. I never tasted roasted lamb. So I know you'll have an influx of people because the food just goes. So I know we are developing the palate of Tobagonians to mutton, and to that, and it's tender. That's what I like about it when they prepare it, So I'm looking forward to the Lamb Festival myself.
I'm very interested in the diversity of the different dishes that they can come up with using the lamb, and it speaks to the creativity of the people here on the island of Tobago. How do you think, in terms of the vendors coming forward and coming up with these different dishes, what does it make you feel to look to see, well, this was just an idea to increase the stock on the island, but look what it has transformed to? What is your takeaway from that?
My personality, I love creativity, by the way. Everything that you could make from lamb and you believe you can impress us, apply, because we have a call for vendor registration happening now. It starts today, it ends on Friday. Registration begins at 9, it ends at 2 p.m. I know a lot of the elderly people come early, and that's fine. As long as I see you there early, I escort you up to register. You'll have staff there. They will assist you in signing up the forms. So I think that that whole call vendor registration, you get an idea of what types of dishes you could have at the event. And, they go through a rigorous screening process, and you're part of everything, all the steps towards the festival. So it's not like we just leave you there, right? We have the farmers, we have the animals, we have our vets and our livestock officers working with the farmers. We have Tadco on board training the butchers on how to prepare the lamb meat. We are working towards everything, right up to the Lamb Fest. So you get high quality, proper cuts, proper everything. So I love that whole participatory thing from the division, merging with Tadco and the stakeholders to ensure we have a good culinary festival. Yeah.
Now, Secretary, I know you stated that the purpose of the festival is really to open Tobagonians' palate to a new type of meat, and to sort of I guess to expand in that particular niche in the industry. But is there a goal for the festival towards even going beyond looking at how Trinidad and Tobago's economic situation is, and we have a problem with Forex, to go beyond the Trinidad and Tobago with the production and exportation of lamb meat?
Oh, that would be nice. We could increase production definitely once we get the farmers on board. I know that you've been looking at our website and our Facebook pages, and you're seeing where we started packaged sliced fish, for example. So now you're seeing, red fish being packaged, flying fish. So definitely we can get to that point. I can't recall ever walking into a lot of establishments and seeing lamb meat, for example, being sold so widely. Now you have it on the Esplanade. You have it as part of a lot of the dishes being sold across Tobago. So the idea is, food security is really to, take care of home first, and then let's see what we could do abroad. So we're doing both, yeah? But the idea is to develop our entrepreneurs to get to that point. TADCO can't carry everything, right? But we do provide the support. But once you're interested in exporting, definitely, yeah. But the platform, this culinary event is a platform for that, to showcase to the world, look, this is what can be made from lamb, and Tobago has the best lamb meat, yeah, in the Caribbean.
In terms of getting the vendors on board and the stakeholders on board, what are the numbers looking like? Is it encouraging to see? Have you noticed an increase from the first year to the second year? And what is your expectation this year? I know the invitation is out for registration for vendors, but what are your expectations in terms of your projections, rather?
My projections, I think we'll have a good number of vendors there. In terms of the farmers, we do have a register. I can't remember exactly the numbers, but under the Tobago Integrated Livestock Association, we're working with them. So we're trying to capture everyone, yeah? So maybe next time I'll speak on that, right? But definitely we have the amount of lamb that we want, right? When you hear numbers like 5,000 pounds and 10,000 pounds and 15,000 pounds, you're getting it, right? So people wouldn't just produce for producing sake. They want to know that it will be sold, yeah? Right. And that's why we're trying to create the market for it. And once we have the market, then people can increase production. It's just like the community care program. When it started, we got farmers on board. You're seeing more farmers starting to plant. So persons who were doing the private thing, they started to say, okay, I want to be part of the program, so I'll plant specifically for this while I'm doing trade with this. So you have that, participation. Once there's a market, people tend to come on board.
Absolutely. And of course, we have this Lamb Fest taking place on Sunday, 5th October 2025 from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. You heard Secretary say you don't necessarily have to stand up and listen to all the speechifications. The vendors would be there ready with the lamb meat for you to purchase. So of course it starts at 10 a.m. and rounds up at 8 p.m. With special features, the roast lamb, of course, one of the main features there. So come all toot bagay. Come down to Shore Park Food Hub and enjoy what is Tobago Lamb Fest in its 3rd edition for 2025. You want to be a part of what is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio. Remember, the Secretary will remain on set as we move on to conversations about World Food Day and upcoming events in the division that she is responsible for. So do us a favor and help us.
Share the live, share the live, share the live.
We'll be right back.
Skibidoo bang bang, yours truly Juby representing for Neon, a tribal affair by Highlighter Entertainment. We are here.
Tobago, are you ready? Highlighter Entertainments, Neon, a tribal affair. Costume sales are live. Register now at highlighterentertainment.com. This is Carnival meets culture. Rhythm meets rebellion. Neon is calling. And your moment is now. Light up the night.
I jamming on the pavement with Neon. On the pavement with Red Woman. If you come to rub and shoot.
With Flow Business's new smart solutions, powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
That's essentially the main catalyst which drove Frenzy Mass. I mean, all of us would have done a lot of things together, and this was just the next step now, evolution. We lime, we party, so why don't we take all of that and bring it into Tobago, into a form of mass, where we could go on Gallivant and do the same thing where other people could see what we do it on a bigger stage.
But at this point in time, I think Frenzy is important to me, so I decided to put some energies there. It's our first year Tobago Carnival, we now partner with Iconic Mass, and it's our first time, so I felt like, just see, come and really stamp your name and make that presence from the mass side of things. So that's the vibe, Frenzy Mass. Really excited for Tobago this year.
Love to see the girl bend over. Suck me, big girl. Arch your back, arch your back. Start to arch it. Suck me, girl. Arch your back, arch your back. I say 1, 2, tie up your shoe. 3, 4, bend back more. 5, 6, no time for tricks. Wine like a feeling for sticks. So I want your bend like you forget to cream your leg. Hold on by your ankle them. Not just you, girl, you want your freaking, you want your bread.
When me girl and wine, in Frenzy Mass. Watching out there. That is what I was seeing. Rocking it slow. That is what I was seeing.
I beat and roll, we beat and roll. All day I beat and roll, we beat and roll. When the spirit it, I beat and roll. When the spirit it, I beat and roll. What to do? Let me see how stick you could get. See how stick you could get. Let me see how stick you could. See how stick you could. See how stick you could get. Let me see how stick you could get. See how stick you could get. Let me see how stick you could. See how stick you could. See how stick you could get. Wet me down, wet me down, wet me down, wet me down, wet me down.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show, and we have on set with us Assemblyman Natisha Charles Pantin, who is the Secretary of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment, and the Sustainable Development. Yes, and we're continuing conversations with her, and we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about World Food Day 2025. So, Secretary, tell us, World Food Day 2025. This has been a long-standing event on the calendar of the division, and this year, it's on October, yes?
Yes, it is on October 15th and 16th here at the Shore Park Food Hub. And I just want to remind our viewers the reason for moving it from Dwight York Stadium to the Shore Park Food Hub is because of the giant African snail, right? Usually the snails are transferred in your car tires, the eggs, right? They would be in the dirt, in the soil. That whole area, right, is flagged for the giant African snail. So we're trying to also control the types of plants that enter into the World Food Day celebration. I don't know if you recall, sometime years back, you had 1-2 persons saying that they carried home giant African snail eggs, right? So we're trying to control persons bringing in stuff to sell, right? And that, so we have things that we do before, leading up to the World Food Day, and also controlling what comes in and out of the food hub, because you have more control there. But on the 15th and 16th, we will have the 2-day exhibit. On October the 29th and 30th, we're going to also have the horticultural show. The horticultural show is something recent, as not unlike the World Food Day celebration. We first had it one day, and then persons started clamoring, why are you having it for one day? Increase the number of days, because people absolutely love plants. So now we're having a 2-day celebration of the horticulture market exhibit, right? We have a lot of open days coming up, like the Hope Farm Open Day. We hope to have Louisdor Open Day so that persons can see what the station and the types of services that the stations offer, and also the plants and animals that would be on display and up for sale. Yeah, so we have a good bit of events lined up between September, October, not between September, October, and possibly into November.
I understand the need to ensure that the space is safe in terms of managing the giant African snail, because it is considered a threat, right? And I want also for people to understand that it is not the easiest thing to contain, to manage, and that some people, they try to, when you see a threat, you try to eliminate the threats. The easiest way we know as humans is to kill, right? And sometimes when we try to do that, the snail itself, it expels more eggs, right, and creating more. So we just want to put that out there, that I know the division also does the containment. You have exercises at night sometimes. I know there isn't any on the calendar right now, but I know you've done it in the past. So I just wanted to put that out there, that that also is being considered to ensure that, the spaces remain safe. So let's go back to World Food Day. We've moved it now to October. Is there a reason why it is now in October? And also I want to speak to the number of vendors, like the registration process to get into World Food Day.
All right. So I just want to correct you a bit. Every week we put out a schedule for the giant African snail eradication. And on that schedule, we do a call for communities to come out and be part of the eradication process so that you learn how to control it within your own space. For every one snail, expect to have about 300 on the site, right? That's for every one snail. And I'll tell you, we have a lot of persons who are interested. Some do come out, some don't. And those who don't come out, they tend to send videos to me of how they control it personally in their space and their spaces. And what I often have to tell them, you have to confine the snail first, because they throw salt, they throw bleach, but they throw it on the ground. And if the snail is under stress in anywhere, it releases all the eggs. So you must put on your gloves. You have to protect yourself, right? Protect yourselves. You can't eradicate it with your bare hands, right? So put your gloves on. You get a bucket, right? And you collect the snails, and then you put the salt and the bleach and solution, all right? Or you can set snail bait. Okay, so that is what we're encouraging you to come out, work with our team, because this is something that you would have to control within your own space eventually. Trinidad has not had a handle on it. It originated from Trinidad, as a matter of fact, because we have the port of entries, right? So it's in our Tobago space, and we need to learn how to control it. But we have our team going out nightly and doing the eradication process. So back to World Food Day, it was always in October. Right? It's a world FAO sort of thing, and we go with the theme, right? A hand in hand for better foods and a better future. And we work with that theme in Tobago alongside our comrades, right? So that we can display what we have in Tobago. The vendor registration begins today from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have a team of officers at the division that will assist all the vendors in filling out the form. What you are selling there will be food security related or whatever you're making locally. So we want to have a local corner as well. Persons would use natural resources to make different items, so we will allow that, so we'll create that local corner, but definitely it happens in October every year, right? Mid-month thereabout, and then right after you'll have the Blue Food Festival.
Yes. So, Secretary, some persons might be wondering whether the displays would be as expansive at the food hub as opposed to the Shore Park complex. Let's start in the Shore Park.
Dwight
York. Just speak to us about what persons can expect on the day.
You can expect, we want to expand. So you're not only using the entire space at the food hub, but we want to expand across to the cultural complex, hopefully, so that we can increase the amount of space that we have. Hopefully we'll have some control as to the transport, how people travels across there, right, so that we can accommodate more vendors. You'll have diversity. Usually you'll have fresh produce. The agro-processors will be on board. You have livestock farmers there with the display, and you have people who just make local foods, local confectionaries. So you have a diversity, so from farmers to agro-processors. You'll see things from the fishing industry. So the division would be there. You'll have private stakeholders like ADB and some organizations that want to display what they have. So you'll have a lot of diversity at World Food Day.
And I was going to talk about that in terms of stakeholder buy-in, in terms of partnerships and collaborations. What are some of the things that you can look forward to? These relationships with the stakeholders, how have they worked to strengthen the goals, the mandate of the division in ensuring food security on the island?
Some persons, some establishments, they partner with us in terms of funding. So ADB, you'll see on all our exercises, ADB would be part of that. We have even unit trusts sometimes, they will come in. You have people in the space who would contribute, be mobile. Private persons will come on board depending on what the agenda is. So I think that we have good buy-in as it relates to the division. People coming on board and sponsoring different things for the event. Yeah.
All right. It seems like a very exciting lineup for persons to really come and experience.
And I mustn't mention National Flour Mills as well. Sponsoring stuff for the Lamb Fest. So we have sponsors coming on board.
And the division, as I mentioned before, because we're talking about also the upcoming events, and you mentioned some of them, it seems as if the division is always doing something.
Yes.
We don't always talk about it, but we know that there's always something happening in the division. And you're talking about, I want to talk a little bit more about the open days that you mentioned. Just give us a little bit more information or insight on it so we could kind of understand what exactly you mean by the farmers having an open day.
All right, sir. So managing this division is no walk in the park, I must say. It's not a division where you just sign something and you move on. You have to be on the floor all the time. So it's extremely tiring physically, but it's rewarding when you see what comes out of it in terms of the level of support that you're able to give to persons and to develop persons in, to going on to their own. So that part is extremely rewarding. And these different stations, when they host their open day, is really to showcase what they have been doing for the stakeholders during the year. There are demonstration stations, so a lot of the things that comes from the stations, they're not for production sake, right? So we don't produce eggs for sale, we don't produce plants, for sale, like that. What we do is provide support. So if we train in persons on how to raise chickens or different types of livestock, right? What you have is production as a result of demonstration, and then we discard of it, by give at a very cheap rate to the public. So we don't produce all that Tobago want from these demonstration stations. They're to develop each person to ensure that you become an entrepreneur. Right? And that's the purpose of the open day, for you to come and see what the stations do, right? To ask the necessary questions. And of course, people love the eggs on Hope Farm, so they usually come there for eggs, right? So you'll have, it will be like a mini World Food Day. I don't want to say it's mini, but I have to say it like that because I want the grand exhibit to seem like the end. But the last open day that we had at Hope Farm, there was absolutely no parking. We had cars lined up all the way into Belmont and all the way on Hope Stretch, right? And then I was wondering, I wonder if we're having a wedding here, right? So the whole of Tobago came to Hope Farm. So you have the formalities, very brief because the sun is hot, and then you have the cooking competition. The staff seem to love the greasy pig. I told them that the pig is too domesticated. It's very calm, right? So they need to have a greasy agouti so you can get some energy, right? But you have a lot of fun activities. It's a way for the staff to socialize with the stakeholders and the general Tobago public. And to understand the different services that they provide to our stakeholders. The same at Louis D'Or. Once we're able to pull off that open day at Louis D'Or, you not only get to purchase plants, a lot of persons seem to love this, whatever we have in terms of citrus, mangoes, whatever we have on the list, the ornamentals, you'll have an opportunity to purchase. There will be a ceiling because some people come and they say, okay, I want 20,000 plants, but if you take 20,000, then we can't give away.
That's right.
But that is what it's about, you know, sharing what we have on the station as well as the knowledge that we have so that you understand what the stations offer under the Division of Food Security.
You know, it's so very engaging. Every time we talk about an activity coming out of your division, it always has an element of engagement with the patrons, and I like that about it, you know, so that they kind of have an hands-on experience as to what the division is doing and how the stakeholders can benefit from what is happening there, you know. So thank you so much for, you know, your vision and the execution of your duties. And we're talking about Tobago Lamb Fest 2025. It is happening on the 5th of October, Sunday 5th October, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Shore Park Food Hub. So you want to be there, come and taste every single variety of lamb possible. Well, I don't even have to say, if I don't know, why am I tongue-tied? Because is it because I tasted this lamb already? I don't even understand. I can't say that the lamb is known to man because, I mean, we're trying all types of things here at the Food Hub, you know. So when you come out, you might be surprised. You might say, wow, can they do this with lamb? Well, you're sure this is lamb meat? You know, so come out to the Food Hub on Sunday, 5th October to participate and listen out for all the other activities that have been hosted by the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development. We've been speaking with Assemblyman Natisha Charles Panton, bringing you all the information that is necessary for this conversation. Before we go to a short break, I must tell you this. There's some news I have for you this morning. Closing and prize giving ceremony of the Plymouth Blackrock District Netball Tournament will be held this afternoon at 5 p.m. on the Plymouth Hard Court. Come out one and all and enjoy an evening of closing pure fun. So that's taking place this afternoon at the Plymouth Hard Court from 5 p.m. for the closing ceremony. Come one, come all. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio. And as we go, we invite you to help us.
Share the live, share the live, share the live.
We'll be right back. Tobago Updates Television recognizes women in business. Every Thursday morning on The Morning Show, we engage with women-owned and operated businesses from right here in Tobago. We'll discover these women, their businesses, what inspired their business, their highs and their lows, and their encouragement to you. Join me, your host, Adana Kambi, this and every Thursday on The Morning Show from 7:40 a.m. as we celebrate and encourage women in business.
Rise and shine Tobago. The breakfast vibes you've been waiting for is here.
When you wrong, tell you you's a big dancer.
It's time for Sun Up Tobago, the ultimate breakfast inclusive pull-up party that kicks off your carnival in style.
We aim to take shots.
she come to taste.
Join us on Thursday, October 23rd from 6 a.m. to 12 noon at Scarborough House, 138 Milford Road. Music popping, breakfast sizzling, coolers flowing, and vibes unmatched. This is where sun, sea, soca, and celebration collides. Get your early bird tickets now at Pablo Supermarket, Barcode, Lost Restaurant and Lounge, Signature Cuts, IslandEtickets.com, and committee members. Don't miss the event where Tobago Carnival truly begins. Sun up Tobago. Come for the breakfast, stay for the vibe.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships, it's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
In your wall. Alright, she's here. Welcome. It's Take Your Shot, your truly Junior K. This is where we have real fun. We drink responsibly. We play drinking games. We conduct interviews with some of your favorite stars.
Back again, and then actually breakthrough in 2017 with taillights.
Remind us of it.
Put on your taillights, reverse and back. And then if you beat it, keep it.
Drink or sink it. Real simple. So we're gonna ask a particular question, and if he answers, he doesn't have to drink. So the first question is, if you had to choose Squid, your girl or your mom? What? I'm gonna sing a piece of a song. I am not a singer, all you know that by now. Can't sing, right? But let's try for the purpose of this show.
Right.
You have to figure out the song, sing a piece of the song, identify the artist. Call out the bridal.
That's the one, know that one, eh? So call out the bridal party. We gonna make all the residents happy. Bartender make it snappy. For the good of the king like Poppy. And it is like...
Skibidi bang bang, yours truly Juby representing for Neon, a tribal affair by Highlighter Entertainment. We are here.
Tobago, are you ready? Highlighter Entertainments, Neon, a tribal affair. Costume sales are live. Register now at highlighterentertainment.com. This is Carnival meets culture. Rhythm meets rebellion. Neon is calling. And your moment is now. Light up the night.
I jamming on the pavement with Neon. Jamming on the pavement with Red Woman. If you come to rub and shoot.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We continue conversations this morning in studio. We speak with Mr. Garrett McKellar owner of Exquisite Local Drinks. You might have heard about this guy, seen him on Facebook and posting all of these delectable delights that he produces. And this morning we're talking about a new product launch this morning. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Adana. Thanks for having me.
Of course, a pleasure having you in studio. And guys, if you see the set this morning, I'm already excited. I don't know if you are, but we're going to have an awesome conversation this morning. Before we get into the product launch this morning, tell us a little bit about Exquisite Local Drinks.
Well, Exquisite Local Drinks was founded in 2012 by myself and my brother, Gideon McKellar. And over the years, we would have created a lot of different products, punches, juices, cream liqueurs, not just based upon what we wanted to do, but based upon what the customers would have requested. It is now run by myself and my wife. So, yeah.
And what got you into the production of these drinks? What sparked your interest to say, let me try, see how this would work out?
Well, it's a funny story because, I mean, I would have studied in Trinidad in 2010, 2011 at the University of Trinidad and Tobago, studying mechanical engineering at diploma level. And while I was there, I used to be making drinks and stuff for my apartment mates and stuff, and they was like, when I go back to Tobago, you're gonna be a real big punch, man. I was like, what, are they crazy? But when I came back, while waiting for job opportunities, my brother, he was doing some stuff on behalf of my aunt, who is Izan Williams Chance, and he just asked me if I wanted to do something in the meantime while I was waiting for some feedback. So I started to do some distribution of her drinks. And as time went by, people started to ask me for different things, particularly people who weren't able to really move at a certain point in time, professionals like hair salons, even people at the offices. Between breakfast and lunch, they want a little something to kind of keep them going. So, yeah.
So you provide that delivery service as well?
Yes, I started off at a retail level, doing delivery services, and then I realized that time was a factor because timing is everything. So I started to do some larger scale production and supply the convenience of the supermarkets and mini marts for people to be able to access the products.
That's absolutely amazing. And now we have this product on set with us this morning. I mean, we're talking about punches, juices, and all these things that you've produced.
Right.
Of course, building a wide customer base, developing friendships and relationships with your community. It's like building community,
Most
People are expecting a certain standard from Exquisite Local Drinks because your brother spoke it into being, didn't he? And your friends at college, they said you're going to be a punch man, and you're more than a punch man now. Providing using the term exquisite, meaning that there is, of course, a certain standard to the quality of your produce. So we're talking about a local drink. I haven't looked at the labels yet, so I don't know what it is, but it does look yummy, I must say. So talk us through the product today and how you came up with the idea for the product.
Okay, so what we have today is a cocoa iced tea, a Tobago cocoa iced tea. And the reason I label it Tobago cocoa iced tea is because it's synonymous not just to Tobago, but to Trinidad. Growing up, that's one thing that we used to really look forward to. But it's something that I make at home and make very well. And my daughter, she would be like, yeah, daddy, this is it here. So I was thinking of a way of being able to bring it to the people, thinking of delivery service, but then when I thought it through, it was like the logistics in terms of keeping the tea hot and transporting and possible spillage and stuff like that would be a little bit, and even timing again would have been a challenge. So I was like, what, Garrett, you're already doing these stuff, the drinks bottle. Why not bottle the cocoa tea as well and offer it as a cold beverage? Because long time, you make a tea, you have a little leave back, you put it in an ice tray, you put it in the freezer, you come home later, you take a spoon and you're eating, and it's something that you enjoy cool as well.
Right.
But more than that, you give customers the option now to either drink it cool or reheat it and sip it hot.
Wow, the innovation and the thought process that went into it is what is very impressive. Going through the whole thought pattern in terms of how do I deliver this hot? Because you're right, by the time you see from the time my hot beverage starts to get cool, I am no longer interested in it, because by the time you leave home 7 a.m. to get to me by 8,
Correct.
I no longer, So I like the fact that you came up with a way of still being able to produce or at least make this available to your customers. So I see you have a flask, and I see you also have bottles. But in these bottles, you cannot tell me that all of this is cocoa tea, because I'm seeing something pink there. So tell me what that is, right?
All right. So what we bought today, just basically two other beverages that from Exquisite Local Drinks, which is a beetroot punch and a Guinness and Oats punch, which is one of our flagship products.
Right.
Actually, one of our most sold punches is Guinness and Oats. Just to kind of give people an idea of the other stuff that the brand offers, so they could just have a little overview. And they might have seen the brand, but not being able to attach a face to the brand. So yes.
Right. Okay. So we have tea mugs on sets, and we have a flask, and we have cold drinks. So what are we going to do next?
All right. So I understand that you love your beverages hot. So I bought some hot cocoa tea for you. I will have mine cold. So we're gonna just give it a little stir, because of course the little cocoa settle at the bottom.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am tasting the cocoa tea this morning from Mr. McKellar, Exquisite Local Drinks. Listen, I'm already salivating. Right? Yes. And Granny used to make this tea with the fat on top. You had to see the fat floating on the top,
No, listen, people don't really understand.
Look at it. I'm actually seeing, ladies and gentlemen, the fat floating on the top of the drink.
I see the smoke?
Yes.
So if you do have it on top of the cocoa tea, then you ain't doing it right.
Right. So now, I've never made cocoa tea before, right?
Seriously?
I've never made it before. But what is the thing that causes it? What brings the fat to the drink?
So it's not necessarily fat per se, but I think it comes from two things, which is the cocoa and also the bay leaf.
Right.
Bay leaf is a very important ingredient in the cocoa tea, and bay leaf produces oils as well. So the little bay oil would come on the top of the cocoa.
And this is the cold version of the tea here that you're pouring to drink. Ooh, I saw everything come on from that bottle. Right, so let's cheers. Cheers to Exquisite Local Drinks.
Thank you.
Let's see how this goes. Now, I do not normally like my hot drinks to be sweet, right? And I like the fact that though it has sweetness to it, it's not overpoweringly sweet. It's not like making me think, this should be cold. It can be enjoyed either hot. I could see how this will taste nice cold. Because, viewers, it has a rich... Just so let me try again. I think you're onto something here.
Thank you.
I know I want to try the cold version.
Now you see how all the flavors come together. Now the spices is the most crucial part of the concoction, if you want to call it that, because that really brings out the flavor of the cocoa.
But I want to ask a question, right? And I'm, of course, by no means an expert in this field. Is it the same consistency, the same mix you make for hot and cold? I know sometimes when things go to the refrigerator and it comes back out, the quality is not the same. Is it the same with this drink? Is it the same?
It is the same.
And you could taste the same flavors in the cold as well as the hot.
Everything, yeah.
It's so amazing that sometimes we use the very simple, everyday, mundane things that we could turn it into something that is so amazing. And we're launching this product here today. And of course, customers and viewers, if you're listening, this will be made available from today. Tell us where we can get this product from and, stuff like that.
All right. So for now, you can reach me directly at 712-8972. You can follow my Instagram page at EXQ Local Drinks or my Facebook page at Exquisite Local Drinks. And soon you'll see that we'll be distributing to some of the mini marts and supermarkets and stuff like that.
But Garrett, I find you very, very humble this morning because we entered into the months that end with BER. And from the time we start September, we know we're heading down to December. And I also happen to know that you produce local Christmas drinks as well.
I do.
So tell us what we could look forward to coming down to the end of the year.
All right, so we have our typical drinks. We have a coconut rum cream, which is our flagship rum cream, and then we have pina colada rum cream, which is a combination of coconut and pineapple. And then we also have our mudslide, which is, well, you know what a mudslide is, but a mudslide is like a mocha drink, which is a combination of chocolate and coffee flavors, you know, and also it has a similar profile with the cocoa tea, and that was actually the basis of being able to create that mudslide, where you use the mudslide profile, but using local spices to give it that Trinbago feel.
Right.
So yes, it does have the natural spices incorporated in it, which you would not typically find in a mudslide.
And you also do the sorrel and ginger beer.
Yes,
you know,
the sorrel and
for those
ginger
of us who don't have the time to make it, you know, he makes a wicked. Sometimes when I look at your videos, I could almost smell the spices coming through the screen just based on.
Spices are just, you know, one of the most important aspects of our business, because again, that defines local. Local, we know that when we make our food and our beverages, that when you taste something like you eat a pillar, when you bite a little piece of clove or a piece of ginger, and it's like,
You know you're eating this in Tobago.
So spices is, you know, that's so crucial. So yeah.
All right, well, you know, of course, we wish you the absolute best. I can't wait to see these on shelves eventually.
Yes.
And viewers, if you are in a hurry, in a rush, you want to have your cocoa tea, but Gary can't get to you to have it hot, you bottle in them, you put them in the fridge. When you reach the work, you just pour that thing in the microwave, warm it up, and you have your nice hot cocoa tea.
So definitely, one of the key points in terms of creating this beverage is that I know that a lot of people drink beverages, hot beverages or cold beverages on the way to work or when they get to work. Right. So you have your grab and go. You could buy for the week. Of course, when you could directly contact me and we could arrange to give you a little discount, you know, for a certain amount. And you grab and go, you carry it to work, you sit down, you're ready to work, you pour it out, you heat it up, and you're good to go. Start the day right.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and you heard it here first on the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, of course, promoting our local vendors here on the island of Tobago, producing. I'm hearing him drinking and slurping this thing, and I'm telling you, my mouth is producing that saliva for this drink, you know. Mr. Garrett McKellar of Exquisite Local Drinks, product launch today. Cold cocoa tea, iced cocoa tea rather, that you can have it on the go on the way to work. You know, like a morning smoothie. Yeah, I think you could have it just like that on the way to work. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have to end the morning show, but it's not where we end our programming. We head on over to GMT, and as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Imagine being on your last straw as a parent because you don't know what else to do with your child that is giving trouble at home. Well, the Probation Services Unit of the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection hosted a 4-day program titled Thinking for Change, which was geared to help improve the change behaviors by encouraging and inspiring these kids that they can do it, to keep going, to always believe in themselves, that they are enough and they are more than capable.
We are guiding you today that once you change your thoughts, you can change your game. And essentially, that's what Thinking for a Change focuses upon.
This program isn't just some boring lecture about being good. It is a powerful, real-world system that teaches you to take charge of your own life by changing the way that you think. And here's the deal. Your thoughts shape your actions.
A parent shared how thankful she was about having a program like this.
I'm very grateful for the program and for all the parents who are going through the same thing, or that you might feel as you alone. There's a lot of us, it have some of them who are willing to come forward, right? And I would encourage parents to don't give up on their children and stick with their children, support them 100%. right? And since the program, me and my daughter get very close. We wasn't agreeing. You can't tell me nothing bad about my daughter now. I love she very much.
And these participants vowed to listen to their parents going forward.
I did enjoy it. It also helped me change the way of how I think in like certain circumstances and attitude towards parents, teachers, anybody like older than me and thing, yeah.
What I gained from this program is not some misunderstood situations, and so in every situation, like, okay, somebody comes to me aggressive, not to just get back aggressive. Learn and identify the feelings of the person and them kind of thing there. And I learned how two kind of situations. It have an in-your-face situation and it have a time to think problem. And you had to learn to identify the problem to find a solution. Yes, I ain't gonna tell you don't live your best life. Live your best life, but do it with the permission of your parents or guardian and just respect.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Right here on Tobago Updates, I am your host, Chanel Felix. And you know, whenever you see me here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting topics and conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. The tug Solo Creed, central to Tobago's 2024 oil spill, escaped custody in Angola last year and remains missing. According to the International Oil Pollution Compensation Fund, IOPC, the vessel had been detained after towing the Gulfstream barge, which capsized off Tobago, spilling thousands of tons of fuel. While compensation claims now exceed US $30 million, ownership of the tug is still unverified. Energy Minister Rudal Munilal confirmed efforts to track the vessel using satellite surveillance as Trinidad and Tobago pursues a $244 million damage claim. Additionally, tourism performance in Tobago has sparked political debate. Minority Leader Kelvin Morris accused Tourism Secretary Tashia Grace Boris of masking a fall in international arrivals by highlighting the annual July-August surge in domestic visitors. Responding to Boris's claim that Tobago's tourism sector was thriving despite challenges, while Boris credited heritage events, promotions, and influencer campaigns for boosting arrivals, Morris demanded hard figures on hotel occupancy, international arrivals, and financial performance of state-owned mantelage. And finally, the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection of the Tobago House of Assembly, THA, is no longer affiliated with Hanif Benjamin, citing its zero-tolerance policy on misconduct. Benjamin, a clinical and forensic traumatologist and former chairman of the Children's Authority during 2017 to 2020, faced 2 sexual charges involving a minor. He was granted $170,000 bail and is expected to be back in court on January 16, 2026. Both the PNM Tobago Council and the Innovative Democratic Alliance had demanded his dismissal, stressing that child protection leadership must remain beyond reproach. And that was our news in 90 seconds. Guys, we're going to take a quick break right here and we'll be back with much more conversation right after this. See you soon.
Rise and shine, Tobago. The breakfast vibes you've been waiting for is here.
When you rum, tell you you's a big dancer.
It's time for Sun Up Tobago, the ultimate breakfast inclusive pool party that kicks off your carnival in style.
We come to take shots. She come to take shots.
Join us on Thursday, October 23rd from 6 a.m. to 12 noon at Scarborough House, 138 Milford Road. Music pumping, breakfast sizzling, coolers flowing, and vibes unmatched. This is where sun, sea, soca, and celebration collide. Get your early bird tickets now at Pablo Supermarkets, Barcode, Lost Restaurant and Launch, Signature Cuts, IslandEtickets.com, and committee members. Don't miss the event where Tobago Carnival truly begins. Sun Up Tobago. Come for the breakfast, stay for the vibe.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and look. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
your shot with Junior K.
Always with the introductions, as you see. And of course, we're on television. Big up to my boy Saki. We just complete. I saw that. So we didn't have a choice. We had to call it. Good. So, Carnival. I say, warn them. Hey, I get to know. Baba boy Doran. We are the last man. Alright, you gotta drink, bro. Drinking liars.
Enjoy Take Your Shot on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and share.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. This morning we have the privilege of sitting in studio and chatting with Councillor Tashia Grace Boris, who is the Secretary for Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Chanel, and good morning to Tobago. Happy to always be part of the Tobago Updates morning show.
Excellent. And this morning we jump full speed ahead by talking about the huge Tobago contingent that I don't know if they came back as yet or
yes.
That recently came back from Barbados as they celebrated that Carifesta 2025. Tell us a bit about Tobago's participation there. And, you know, is it the first time Tobago has had such a big representation at Carifesta?
So Tobago's history with Carifesta has always been one where the island has shown up and showed off its cultural prowess. And this year in Carifesta 15 in Barbados was no different. However, we went as a collaborative effort, the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities, Transportation, the Tobago Performing Arts Company, Tobago Festivals Commission Limited, alongside the Ministry of Community Development and Culture. And what you saw on stage, and I think a lot of the images and the reels people have seen over the last couple of days, was the country night, which really was the climax of our participation over the 10 days that the festival was hosted. And that country night production was co-directed by Miss Rishon Pierre, who works as the operations manager at Tobago Festivals Commission Limited and who was formerly the artistic director at the Tobago Performing Arts Company. And that was a collaboration between, you know, the groups from Trinidad, the National Steel Orchestra, you had Dragon Boys Tassa Group that is sponsored by First Citizens Bank, you had Neval Chaitlal, you had Terry Lyons, you had Freetown Collective, and obviously Tobago showed up. And once Tobago showed up, you know, the house was brought down. We had our creative, talented, amazing dancers from the Tobago Performing Arts Company. We had our drummers from the Division of Culture. We had you know, our residents from Tea Park. We had, it was such an amazing sight to see and to be there to witness the spectacle that was put on display. And Country Night for Trinidad and Tobago was actually one of the largest nights at Carifesta 15. And the crowd was amazed at what we were able to put on show. And I'm really proud of all of the work that went into this production, because those residents and you know, those staff from all of these companies have really been going since Heritage Festival. So they did the Heritage Festival, they went straight into the activation in Times Square, New York, and then they were on display in Carifesta. So kudos to them and kudos for their
right. And this was the night where they would have performed that opening night presentation.
No,
again.
this was country night. So country night. So every night in Carifesta was a country display. So ours was the second to last night. But we had a separate presentation, which was an abridged version of Time Meets Twine, which was the opening night heritage production that took place on the 27th, which was the Wednesday night. And again, that was witnessed by the acting president of Barbados himself. He was present with his wife. And, you know, the crowd was amazed again at what we were able to put on stage, and really to show that Tobago is actually one of the countries to look forward to where culture is concerned.
Right. Were there some carnival activations happening during that Carifesta week as well?
So part of the display that we had at the Grand Market, that was the country display, also involved the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited. And what we did, we took advantage of the crowd that would come for CariFesta, and we were able to do some promotions for Tobago October Carnival. So you see my jersey, I'm on brand because it's carnival time.
Yeah.
And really to support the activities that are going to be taking place in October, from the 1st of October straight down to the 26th, which is the climax. We also had the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited as well doing a road show in Barbados at the same time. So we had our two companies really taking the opportunity to sell everything that Destination Tobago has to offer.
Excellent. What are some of the long-term benefits from these types of partnerships and regional showings?
So for CariFesta, coming out of CariFesta, there has been this renewed interest in the cultural product of Tobago, because one of the things that was left on the lips of people is, where can I see more of this? And this is an opportunity for us to do some regional marketing of the Heritage Festival and all of our festivals as a result, because we can see that there is an appetite for what we have to offer. And even though every country brought their A game and they displayed what each country is unique for, Tobago really, I think, put on something that stayed in the hearts and minds of people who were able to witness. So for us, part of what the TTAL had to do was certainly bring people's awareness to the fact that we have a direct flight between Barbados and Tobago, and to drum up more interest in terms of people coming from Barbados and vacationing in Tobago, and persons from Tobago going to Barbados and vice versa, because we also have a number of students who are studying at Cave Hill. And one thing that I noticed, especially in the country night, where there were a lot of parents who were taking their kids to university and taking the opportunity to see what Barbados had to offer. And I think that that is something we can also offer to Bajan students. They can come to Tobago and they can see what Tobago has to offer. It's just an hour away by plane. It's a direct flight straight to Tobago and back on a Sunday and a Wednesday. So for me, I think there are always collaborations that could grow out of what we were able to witness, because it was not just the participation in the country night that was very, very significant, and also time meets twine, but also the fact that we had a number of persons from Tobago who were sitting on panel discussions during the week of CariFesta. So we had people like Joel George Green, we had people like Latoya Roberts, we had people like Onika Henry, we had people like Garnet Lawrence. So these are persons who are known in this space for their talents and, you know, their creative genius. I mean, lawyer Latoya Roberts also showcased the book that she wrote. And I think that these people need to be congratulated, because their recognition on the world stage, and this is a stage where a number of persons were invited to attend the different sessions. You had persons like Ava DuVernay, you had Nigel Barker from Project Runway, you had I met Maxine Williams, who is head of diversity at Meta. So these were some of the names of persons who were sitting in panel discussions for the weekend CariFesta. And you could see that the creative economy is a sector that we definitely have to keep our eyes on. We have to make some attempts to give more targeted investment, because the creative sector, you know, dance, drama, art is not a hobby anymore. People can actually make, you know, decent living careers from being in the creative sector. And CariFesta really brought all of that to the fore.
Totally understood. Now we're going to shift gears a bit and talk about, you know, something that you said recently in an interview. You know, you were talking about how Tobago's tourism economy particularly has been doing during the state of emergency. And, you know, you said that despite that, Tobago has been doing well, and and tourism is thriving. You know, what has Tobago been doing to maintain why even throughout this SOE?
So, you know, there was a pivot strategy that we had to come up with, because this is the second state of emergency that has been declared essentially for the year, because the first one was declared literally at the end of 2024 going into 2025, which is our peak winter season for international. And then a second state of emergency was declared in July. And for us, we could not go back out with the same narrative that Tobago is safe, Tobago is open for business, because that's what we said the first time. Now, mind you, things have not changed, you know, and the reasoning for the two SOEs being called are two different reasons. But the reality is that Tobago always suffers some fallout if it is that in the national news, in the international news, Trinidad and Tobago is under a state of emergency. So for us, we already knew how we would have to, the language that we would have to use with our international trade partners. But I am not one of those who looks at adversity and just gives up, you know. And for me, it was all about how do we not just say that Tobago is safe and open, but how do we show people that Tobago is safe and open. And that is why you would have seen that coming out of the Heritage Festival, there was a number of strategies in terms of putting out the reels and the digital marketing and the particular face that was shown. What was shown was people out in the streets enjoying themselves, whether you were going to Charlottesville to the Natural Treasures Day, whether you were enjoying Speyside for harvest, whether you know, it didn't matter what you participated in. We wanted to basically show that our Heritage Festival was well subscribed. Everybody had a great time. Everybody enjoyed themselves, and the productions was of a very high quality. We also had the visit of Nicholas Nouvan, big influence, and that was actually facilitated through the division, getting him to come here and to be here during the Heritage Festival. And the brand of product that he puts out is more organic and authentic, showing island life, showing the average person, showing the average business. So he's not going to big hotels and big businesses. He's going to the people on the street. He's going to the man who's selling snow cone and the person who's selling food by the side of the road. Because we also want to sell the untouched, unspoiled, undiscovered side of Tobago. And all of his reels went viral naturally. And thirdly, that activation that we had in Times Square, New York. Now, we had to go with something big. And the reality is that in the international space, millions of dollars are spent to do tourism marketing. We do not have anywhere close to that kind of money to spend. So you're talking about not being able to even compete on dollar for dollar spend. But whatever we do spend money on, it certainly has to make us splash, and it certainly has to break through all of the noise. So what better way to break through all the noise than go in the center of where all the noise is, which is Times Square. And what we took to Times Square was the best of what Tobago has to offer in a snapshot. Anybody passing at that time saw us playing steel band. They heard us singing our songs. They heard the beat of the drums. They saw our dancers and the amazing talents that they have. And certainly that video that went up on the screen that for us, and that showed for over a period of time, maybe over a day, I think. And what it showcased was, you know, this was putting the destination out front and center to the hundreds of thousands of people who traverse that space on a daily basis. And for me, all of these activities really, the aim is to ensure that we could remain front of mind in the minds of the traveler, that yes, you have options. You can go to Barbados, you could go to Grenada, you could go to Jamaica. But have you ever been to Tobago? And why should you go to Tobago? And for me, I could only just kind of thank all of the hardworking members of staff behind all of these activations, all of the creatives who put their time and talent out there every single day to ensure that they're showing up as the best ambassadors for the destination. And for me, by numbers, our domestic market is our largest source market. So even if something is happening in the international space, we still don't have the kind of airlift that we would like in terms of connectivity. We have to play what we are good at. And right now we are doing well in the domestic market, and it will be in our best interest to continue to promote in the domestic market, to continue to get numbers from the domestic market, to keep our businesses afloat.
Right. And how do you begin to play on that momentum that you received from Times Square and from Tobago Day? And do you think that Tobago Day is a good investment for the THA as it pertains to tourism engagement internationally and just engaging with the diaspora?
I think that Tobago Day is something that over time will continue to grow. Because if you notice, that same day was Grenada Day. Okay. And Grenada Day had about 10,000 persons. Now, mind you, Tobago Day is growing every single year. And I think that now that the THA has stepped in to invest in Tobago Day, I could only see it growing and growing and people getting an appetite to find out more and more about the destination. We have to utilize all the platforms that we have to engage persons. We have a very strong diaspora in that area, and we have to take advantage of all of our diaspora markets, whether they reside in the United States, whether they're in the UK, whether they're in Canada, wherever they are in the world, because persons coming home, visiting friends and relatives is actually one of our largest segments of persons who come to visit the destination. So we're not just focusing on people who have never heard about Tobago and want to visit for the first time, but we want also consistent repeat visitorship, and consistent repeat visitorship really comes from your diaspora market. So for us, it's continued engagement with our diaspora to continue to keep those connections growing and fostering that sense of togetherness and getting them to understand that they also have a part to play in helping us continue to keep our tourism sector growing, because they come, they visit with their families, they could also tell their friends and their neighbors and their co-workers about Tobago who have never visited the destination. And that kind of word of mouth direct advertising also works in our favor as well.
Right. And you spoke a bit about the airlift still being a key challenge for Tobago Tobago, especially when it comes to that international tourism. You know that there's a different central government administration in place. Are there any conversations that are happening to improve that? And do you see that moving towards a positive direction?
So those conversations have already started happening. And one thing that I take heart about is that they do acknowledge that it's not in the best place. And you would have heard the Prime Minister in recent past literally kind of just say to Caribbean Airlines that you guys have to look at how you are doing your business, because the business of air traffic has to be aligned to a tourism strategy. And for a very long time, you know, the tourism bodies, Visit Trinidad, TTAL, were on this side trying to market the destination, but Caribbean Airlines was on this side, you know, fulfilling whatever their mandate was given by their board of directors. The three sets of entities now have to kind of come together for us to decide how are we collectively working together to not just spend money isolatedly in marketing, but how is that marketing spend redounding to the kind of numbers that will drive traffic to our national carrier and bring the numbers to both islands, whether it be Tobago or Trinidad.
So is it that we're now collaborating with the Ministry of Tourism to align Tobago's tourism strategy with the national tourism strategy?
So
is this something that was being done before?
No, actually, to be honest with you, those conversations were never had. But in my first conversation with the new Minister of Tourism, he indicated that, you know, he's on board with helping Tobago grow its tourism product because he understands that Tobago has that as a competitive advantage. And he has offered his expertise and the expertise of all of his technocrats in the ministry as well as all of their companies for us to all get on the same page where growing the sector is concerned. We spoke about all of the aspects of trade that also affect the tourism sector, for example, the incentives, the land license. These are very important conversations that we have been having for a very long time. And I remain optimistic at this point that he is now brought into the conversation to the point where tourism is now aligned with trade. So we're hoping that some of that bureaucracy that existed before when it was under two ministries now no longer exists because it's under one. And that he has an understanding of some of the barriers that exist to us being able to attract the kind of hotel investment and FDI that other destinations attract because their incentives are more attractive or because there's less bureaucracy for persons to come into destinations and invest. So he's aware of those challenges. He's being brought up to speed, and we will continue to have those conversations with the view of seeing some real push and some real results in the shortest possible time.
Right, and even with the new airport terminal being completed but not yet fully operationalized, do we have any idea what are some of the timelines within which we could see that being up and running from a tourism standpoint? I know that's not your ministry, not your division, not your area, but you know, even as it pertains to the collaboration.
So, you know, we have this very strong relationship with the Airports Authority. We haven't been given any timelines, but what they have always explained to us is that and to operationalize an airport takes a lot. So it's not just about finishing the physical infrastructure. You now have to hire staffing. So you need more security, you need administrative staff, you need maintenance staff. You know, there's a lot that goes into opening an airport and bringing it into fully operational phase. And, you know, that work is ongoing. So we haven't essentially been told as to when it will be opened, but I think that that work has already started in terms of the back-end sourcing and staffing. They've put out procurement for persons to come in and operate spaces for concessions and that kind of thing. So all of that work has already been done. So I'm really optimistic that before the end of the year, we'll be able to know when it will happen, or it shall happen before the end of the year, whichever comes first. But whenever that does happen, I want to implore everyone who is remotely involved in the tourism and travel trade. We have this new airport. We need to take advantage of it. We need now to create that business case for persons, for airlines to look favorably on Tobago as a destination and fly in. It means that there must be some much needed investment in improving our product, improving our standards, improving our service, because that's the only way we can compete. We could have the best sun and sea that God has ever created. But if our service is poor, nobody's going to come here. If our product is poor, nobody's going to come here. If we don't operate as if we have standards, nobody's going to come here, because every single tourism tourism destination out there is operating with enhanced product, with enhanced investment, because they see the value of the tourism sector. They see how much revenue it generates. They see how much jobs it creates for persons across the entire spectrum. They see how many opportunities are available. They see how many indirect investments are made in ancillary sectors to support the tourism sector, like agriculture and technology and public infrastructure. Tourism really is a tide that rises all boats. And it's for us to understand the importance of tourism and not just treat it as a hobby, or not just treat it as if it's something by the way, but rather we utilize tourism as that catalyst to really grow the island of Tobago.
Understood. We're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back with much more on this conversation right after this. So see you soon.
High School Tobago, an all-inclusive evening of entertainment, culinary delights, and timeless vibes. And at midnight, raise your glass as we welcome the next 100 years. Limited early bird tickets, $750. Secure yours at islandetickets.com. An all-white affair, one night, one century, one legacy.
Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
With Flow Business's new smart solutions, powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago, right here on Tobago Updates. This morning I have been having the privilege of chatting all about the tourism sector here on the island with Councillor Tashia Grace Boris, who's also the Secretary for Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. Now, we had a huge Tobago contingent that just came back from New York, Barbados, just had an entire heritage festival, and we were talking a bit about the success of tourism agencies throughout this July, August period. You know, we had activations going on almost everywhere.
Yes.
But there's a lot that's still happening, especially in time for Carnival 2025. Tell us a bit about some of the activities that, you know, are now happening. And I don't want to leave out the Dodge diving, because I remember last time we spoke, you know,
we did.
that was something to happen, and it happened successfully.
And it happened,
So tell us about some of the activities that are on the calendar.
So for Carnival, and I'm kind of excited because we have some things up our sleeve, because every year we try to keep the Carnival fresh and exciting, and we're always evolving the product. We don't ever want to get into a rut where the Carnival product is concerned. You know, there are some things that are going to be common throughout, but we're always looking for avenues to see how can we, as a Tobago Carnival, can we have a product that people could only experience if they come to Tobago. So there's going to be an unveiling that is going to happen, and that unveiling would be the unveiling of the new tagline, because we had Ritual Revelry release for the first year, which was 2022. And the idea was to have that as a 3-year tagline. And then now we're in year 4. So there's going to be another tagline that is now going to be introduced to the public. And that is going to happen within the first 2 weeks of September. So we're going to be sending out some information regarding that and how members of the public may be able to be part of that very, very special unveiling of the Carnival and the calendar and everything that comes with it. All of the work that has to start in the back end has already started. So the conversations with the stakeholders, you know, treating with the build out of the Carnival and the coordination of the different elements. So it's just for us to simply start to snowball the thing into October. As you can see, some of the branding elements have already started to go up in this space, so that people over the next couple of weeks are going to see more visuals are going to be put into the space. Visuals are going to be rolled out in Trinidad. They're going to see some things happening at the ports of entry, airport and seaport, and you're going to see some things happening in the space in Tobago. So without giving away too much, just know that we are firmly on track to have a very grand Tobago October Carnival from the 1st of October straight down to the 26th or to the end of the month, depending on who's still having parties. But so far, from what I'm hearing, the response has been amazing. I've been speaking to some promoters who have events, and they're talking about the fact that Tobago keeps putting itself on the map where the Carnival is concerned, that their events are growing, that their tickets are flying off shelves. And, you know, people are so excited to come. The only thing right now we're waiting on is the boat tickets to drop, and that should happen first week in September. And we're waiting for the announcement of some additional flights as well, keeping our fingers crossed, so that we can ensure that everybody who wants to come and enjoy Tobago Carnival has an opportunity to do so. But I'm looking forward to, you know, what we have on the table. As I said, Tobago continues to put out consistently high quality standard of cultural product. And the Carnival, not just a tourism product, but it's a cultural product. It showcases the best of who we are, and it brings together the best of who we are. So, I mean, we have been able to, as I said, get that positive buzz generated from the Heritage Festival and those activities, from the Times Square activation, from Carifesta. We're now going straight into Carnival with the excitement.
I'm happy to hear that. But there are certain sectors of the society that have raised concerns, even as it pertains to the Tobago Carnival. So it would be great to hear from you what is being done to address those concerns. We heard from the people in Roxborough about Roxborough wanting to be a key part of that Tobago Carnival, and nobody's going to take away Roxborough Carnival and Juve from Roxborough. You know, they talk about the mud mass in Roxborough, they talk about Roxborough Juve, and these were things that were pivotal to, you know, stirring the economy up at Roxborough during Carnival time. They have expressed feeling a bit left out. And then we have heard persons saying, look at Grenada and how big that you know, the oil and that is, and we can compare that to Tobago having that mud mass. And how can we use those things to create the same level of buzz as the Grenada Carnival? So tell us a bit about that.
So let me address Roxborough. Roxborough has had a very deep-rooted history in February Carnival. And that is something that, for me, we have to invest in. Like, it can't be, it's not a matter for debate. And it's just a matter of how we treat with that investment. Do we go through the community groups? Do we create the Windward Committee again? I mean, we just have to decide what the model is. And I think that the people of Roxborough are the best people to determine what is the best model, because they have community groups who have been involved from day one. They have a very vibrant police youth club. They have very vibrant civil society organizations. They have very vibrant cultural and sporting groups. So, you know, for us, as government and being the facilitators of the things, we are happy when proposals come to us and people say, we want to do this, we want your support, or we have this idea for this activity, can you guide us on how to get this executed? So I think it's just a matter of us defining what the conversations, when the conversations need to happen, and definitely they need to happen as soon as October is finished, because with the February construct, February Carnival allows us to have carnival activities throughout the island. So whereas in October we have a largely centralized carnival in Scarborough, for February, there is opportunity for us to have carnival activations, whether it be in Roxborough, whether it be in Castara, whether it be in Charlottesville, whether it be in Lowlands, whether it be in Crown Point. It's not bound by, you know, geographic limitations. And because the carnival is proclaimed, there is an opportunity for persons in this space, whether you be carnival groups, whether you be cultural groups, whether you be sporting organizations, whether you be a bunch of people who just have a good idea and you want a place to channel that good idea, that February constructs allows the opportunity for us to really blanket the entire of the island with celebrations. So for us, in terms of differentiating between what happens between October and February, one could be looked at as the incubator for the other. So as I said, whereas October is largely centralized in Scarborough, now in February we have the opportunity to celebrate carnival throughout the island of Tobago and have different activations that could stimulate the individual economies in the communities. So again, it's just a matter of defining what that conversation would look like, because it will not just be a Roxborough conversation, because there are people in different spaces who also want to get involved in Carnival in February, and they may not know where to start. So we have an opportunity to give everybody a platform to see how we can grow activities in different spaces during that time in February that allows for us to do that. So Roxborough is not going to be left out. I mean, if there were instances in the past where that happened, certainly that was not the intention to offend anybody or to make Roxborough people feel as if we were forgetting about them and just focusing in other places. It's just for us to ensure that we could just buckle down and make sure that we do all the things that we have to do from a planning perspective very early to ensure that everybody's interests are satisfied at a particular level. The second thing that you made mention of was the mud and the comparison between what we see in Grenada versus what we see in Tobago. Now, I grew up in Tongue. And one of my very, very early memories of anything related to Carnival was sitting in my gallery in Scarborough, waiting for Mudmaster to come down the road on a Tuesday afternoon. And I've probably only played mud once in my life, in essence. But the mud band was the largest thing and still is the largest thing on the road in February. So what we branded the Juve last year was a dirty Juve, and dirty on purpose, because we want to get people into accepting the idea that this is not necessarily a t-shirt mask Juve. Yes, you're going to come to Juve in your t-shirt and it might be very clean and it might be very nice at the beginning. But the idea is by the end of the Juve, we can't recognize what it was the original color of your t-shirt, because this Juve is something that is very, very organic and very, 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 very grassroots. And, when people want to make comparisons between the oil and the mud, Jab is literally almost like a religion in Grenada. When you look at the pictures of Jab, you're seeing little, very tiny children in Jab. And in every community, they teach Jab as a way of life, and people have been playing Jab their entire life. So for us to get to that place, we have to embrace the mud as part of our culture and not be afraid of it, because a lot of times in the past, the mud was corralled, the mud was controlled, the mud was almost hidden. It wasn't allowed to come down in town before a particular hour. There was always a kind of pull and tug between the pretty mask bands and the mud and where the placement of the mud is. And, when we created the Tobago October Carnival product, the mud is a central theme. When we talk about ritual, revelry, release, the ritual that we refer to is really mud. That beginning of the mask, because mask before it was beads and feathers and cloth and string and whatever was what we had, and what we had was mud. And that was the mass. And that's the ritual that we talk about, the digging of the mud and the boiling of the mud and the treating of the mud and then applying it to the skin and, you know, everything that comes with playing mud mass. So that for us, there's a lot of work that we still have to do in terms of educating people about the origins of the mud mass and to get people to now embrace the mud as part of our culture. And even when our visitors come, because a number of persons who participate in Tobago October Carnival would be persons who are not residents of Tobago, we also have a responsibility to educate them about what the mud means to us. So there's some work that has to be done there. Maybe because I know there was a documentary that was done, maybe we need to put that out. Maybe that needs to go to international film shows so that or maybe we need to go on a road show and show it in schools, in Tobago, in Trinidad, up the island, so that people would understand what mud means to Tobago, similarly to what jab means to Grenada. And get people to recognize that when you come to a Juve in Tobago, you're coming to play mud, you know. So it's not about, you know, because everybody's carnival again has different facets. I know that in some carnivals they actually have t-shirt masks as a part of their carnival. Our Juves are dirty Juve. So we encourage you to come to the Juve and get immersed in the ritual, which is to get the mud on your skin and to understand the freedom that comes with that, the freedom of expression that comes with that, and what it means to us as Tobagonians when mud is concerned. So we have a lot of work to do in terms of educating ourselves and educating the persons that come to Tobago to enjoy Carnival about how important mud is and to give it its rightful place as part of our Carnival product.
Right, and we're in September and October is just a few short weeks away from now. Tell us about some of the activations that would continue to happen. You said that there would be that revealing. I don't know if that is the official carnival launch, but you know, why is it important for persons, especially Tobagonians, to understand that the carnival is theirs? It's their economic driver and they have a key role to play as it pertains to promoting the carnival. It's not just something that the Festival Commission has to do or that the division has to do, but every business should have a particular Tobago Carnival package happening.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be selling coconuts. There should be a Tobago Carnival coconut special. So how do you, you know, begin to engage the private sector to understand that, listen, this is your time. And this is even if you have a spa, you should be having that carnival promotion. Get ready for carnival with us, whatever. Doesn't matter what the sector is. You know, tell us about that.
So I'm glad you asked that question because about 2 weeks ago, I sat with the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce Tobago Division. And those were the exact words that I used to them. This is a carnival that is happening in the capital. And you all have been on record the last 3 years that we've had this carnival talking about how amazing it was in terms of the return on investment and the kind of revenues that you derive from having this carnival product in this space, what it did for suppliers, what it did for retail business, what it did for hotels and restaurants and car rentals and bars and, you know, all of the persons as part of the ecosystem. And it cannot just be looked at as an investment by the Tobago House of Assembly, wholly and solely by the Tobago House of Assembly. You know, ideally, we would want to get to a place where the THA is not necessarily in charge of the carnival, not in charge of all of the assets, all of the aspects of execution and management, but rather we're handing it over to a group of Tobagonians, whether they are an amalgamation of the Tobago October Carnival Association, the Promoters Association, the stakeholder interest groups, the Chamber of Commerce and other business interests to manage the product as what it is, because it's a nexus between creativity and business. It has to drive something. It has to drive us getting the name of Tobago out there in the international space. And if the platform that we're using is a carnival, we have to make sure that it's well executed. So one of the conversations that I had with them was, how are you guys selling the carnival? Because we don't necessarily want a check from you. We don't necessarily want monetary sponsorship from you. I mean, those things would be nice if you can do it. But what we want you to do is to understand that you have a stake here, and the stake is not just for you to benefit, but how are you helping the thing grow? How are you contributing to the growth of the young persons who are getting involved in Calypso and Soca? How are you supporting Pan Trinbago in their thrust to make Pan universal? You know, how are you supporting the promoters in ensuring that the product that they put out there is a great quality product where events are concerned, and to make sure that they can get a return on investment, because nobody wants to have a party and their party bus, naturally. So how are you guys helping? And we were able to kind of brainstorm and come up with some ways for the business community to get on board. So I'm crossing my fingers that in the coming weeks, we are able to announce how the Chamber of Commerce Tobago Division is going to be getting completely on board with supporting the Tobago October Carnival. And it is my hope that in the next coming days, when we have the conversations with our other stakeholder interest groups, that we get that same kind of enthusiasm and interest, that people understand that it benefits them for this product to succeed, so that the people who have hotels, restaurants, bars, how are we encouraging people to come into the destination? We have a long weekend, the weekend before Carnival. So that you're talking about 2 back-to-back.
Yeah, and most likely persons are going to stay for the entire week and just go straight to
And that
Carnival.
weekend before Carnival is our Blue Food Festival. So you're talking about this huge event that was already by itself a standalone event of world renown, that is now preceding a carnival, that the name of this carnival is growing in the international space. We have the best opportunity, in my view, in terms of getting everybody on board, to not just understand how important this is to sell the destination, but to really put our products and the best of what we have on show. And in terms of the marketing can't just be looked at singularly in terms of what the THA spends on marketing. But when a hotel puts out their specials 6 months ago, 3 months ago, and they're booking, we are now in contact with the Port Authority. They can tell us, hey, our tickets are going on sale first week in September. How are we now offering packages? Sail and stay. So that you get 4 nights, you get the 5th night 50% off. You rent a car for 5 days, you get the 6th day 25% off. I've seen these things done in other destinations to great success. How are we now getting people to stay in the destination longer and spend more money? How are we generating more revenue through more room nights? How are we collaborating with different experience providers, whether it be the reef tour operators, whether it be the tour guides, whether it be even the persons who are promoting the events? If you stay in my hotel, you get 2 tickets to this particular fete, or you get 2 tickets to this particular boat ride, or you get a discount, or something like that. We have to create some partnerships, some alliances, and some linkages. And it's not just for the THA to do. All of these persons operating in these ecosystems support their business in any which way. A fete promoter is going by someone to buy beers. He's going by someone to get his tickets printed and all his branding done. He's going by someone to get accommodation for the artist that he's bringing up for his event. So these persons already know each other. But how are you supporting each other's businesses in being successful and using this product called a Tobago Carnival to generate even more revenue throughout a sustained period for the month of October?
I'm glad that you said that, and I guess you kind of encompass everything there as it pertains to the private sector. We want everybody to be on board, all businesses. It doesn't matter what you're selling.
Doesn't matter what
you know,
you're
and if
selling.
everybody is promoting a Tobago Carnival special, then eventually there's so much promotion that's happening throughout that there's very little for the division to have to do if everyone is promoting Carnival.
So think about if we were all going to utilize all of our networks. Everybody, most persons are on some type of social media, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Instagram, whether it be TikTok. And let's just say for one random day in the lead up to this carnival, we all just post the flyer, or we post some positive thing about a Tobago Carnival experience. What we now do is literally change the algorithm.
Correct.
So that people are now seeing the picture of you winding down by the I Love Tobago sign and saying, my Tobago Carnival experience was winding down by the Tobago, by the I Love Tobago sign. And we now are putting out there that my Tobago Carnival experience, and that is shooting up. So people are now seeing that in their feeds. They're now seeing it coming up in their stories. They're now seeing how people have been experiencing this carnival for the last 3 years to get them to say, oh my goodness, this looks like a great time. I need to go there too. I'm not saying that everything will be perfect. And I mean, for me, having been in this job for the last 3 years and 8 months, coming to an end in December, I've noticed that other destinations do not post negativity about their destinations. They don't put negativity on the front page. They certainly don't have bloggers who are walking around trying to find negative news to report about the destination, because this is a competition. People have to understand that tourism is a competition. And when you show up to a competition, you always have to put your best foot forward if you intend to succeed. And if Tobago wants to show up to this competition called tourism, we have to put our best foot forward. We have to have the platforms platforms where we can figure out if anything is going wrong, how we can fix it. But we can fix it quietly. We can fix it behind the scenes. We can fix it, get it done, and move on to the next thing. But not to amplify the negative, not to harp on, something that went wrong, which could have been easily fixed. We really have to become, as I keep saying, the best ambassadors for this destination. An ambassador is not just someone in government. It's not just a secretary or a chief secretary. It's not just somebody who holds a title. Every day you show up, you're an ambassador for your country. I just came from Barbados, and as I was telling you in the break, the guy at the gas station opened the door. He's pumping gas, and he's telling me, "Good afternoon, ma'am." I'm not sure if I look like a mom, but the point is that the manners was all on display everywhere you went. People were helpful. People were polite. People were just going out of their way to make sure that you feel safe and you're comfortable and you're having a good time. And I'm not saying that it's impossible for us to do. The easiest way to charge more money is to better your service. And I've told business people that. And you could see the difference in your bottom line when you have the right person who's selling your product at the front line, making sure that your customers are satisfied. It will show in your bottom line. And Tobago's bottom line has to increase because our service needs to get better. Once we recognize that we need to compete and we realize that the only way we can compete is with the best service possible, then we know we're in the game.
Thank you. Again, we want to say thank you so much for being here this morning and telling us about all that's happening on the tourism front. And we are wishing you all the best in ensuring that Tobago Carnival is a success. And every Tobagoan has a role to play in ensuring that they use their social media platforms, use their businesses, or whatever influence they have to make the Tobago Carnival a success. Whether or not you are into Carnival or you would be participating, it's still an opportunity, to have people come to Tobago to relax, just to be in the environment and have a number of different activities that help to engage the public. And again, we want to say all the best.
Thank
you.
you.
Guys, before we leave off this morning, we want to remind you that this evening there's a closing ceremony at the Plymouth Hard Courts. That's because there was a Plymouth Blackrock district netball tournament. This would have taken place over the last couple of weeks, and today is the actual final prize giving ceremony. So you can go down at the Plymouth Hard Court and be a part of that. They're asking you to come and enjoy, where there's lots of fun for the entire family. So they want you to come out and support the persons who did participate in this tournament. This is your opportunity to do so. And the first prize for the entire tournament is a challenge trophy and $5,000. Second prize, $3,000. Third prize, $2,000, and fourth prize, $1,500. Again, we want to congratulate the Plymouth Blackrock District for this netball tournament and engaging the women in this style of sporting activities within the district. So you want to be a part of that. There's a number there if you want to call, if you want to, get more information. There's even a prize for the biggest flag waving posse for $1,000. So maybe I could just get a flag and go down there and just start waving, because I could really do with $1,000 today. Guys, have a great day. I am Chanel Felix, and I want to thank you so much for all that you've been doing to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing and continue to do to make Tobago Updates #1. Have a great day.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawn, and as the passion start to rise.